Hello everybody and welcome back to my Minecraft Survival Island series. In this episode I would like to branch out to this hill here and make a tiny village so that I could have some villagers to join me on this island.
Okay, so I'd just like to get the episode kicked off here by heading up to this hill here and flattening it out a bit and clearing out a bunch of the trees.
So that's exactly what I did. I just headed around and chopped down some trees and worked on flattening the terrain out a bit so that it'd be easier to build a village later on. So now that I've got this whole area flat, I would like to go around and build a bit of a path, but to do so I'm going to need some stone, and to get that I'm going to need to get some cobblestone and smelt it in a furnace, so I'll just head down to the mines real quick.
Okay, so now I've got a pretty decent amount of cobblestone here, and I also mined up some coal so that I can smelt it up in my furnaces. So let's just put this coal in here, and then follow it up with some cobblestone. Alright, so now that I've got all of these slabs, I'm gonna pop into a time lapse real quick, and start building up this path.
I wanted to have a bit of a village center, so that's what I started with my path. I just made a little circle so I could have like a marketplace or garden in the middle. I then made some little sections on the sides so that I could branch out and have some houses. I then saw this upper hill section and decided that I wanted to have a couple houses up here, so I started flattening that out and created a path up to it.
Now that I've got this entire path done, I'm just going to go around and start outlining where I want my houses to go.
You really thought I wouldn't sneak in a time lapse here? Well, I did, so here you go. Enjoy. Alright, so I've got all of these outlines done, so now I get to start working on the houses, which I'm pretty excited about, but to do that I'm going to need to collect some wood and stone, so I'll just get to doing that. Alright, so I got a pretty decent amount of materials here. I managed to get a bunch of stone from the mines, but I didn't want to bore you guys with that, so I just did it all off camera. But yeah, pretty decent amount of stone, pretty good amount of stone bricks here. And I also got some oak logs from my little farm back behind my house. And I also got some jungle logs just from like clearing out the area here. But now I get to start putting in these houses, which is the part I am most excited about for sure. So I'm just going to start with this one here. I started by building up the pillars 4 blocks tall because I thought that would be a good height. And then I connected them up and added some sections that point out to add a bit more depth to the build. I then started working on the roof, which is just a simple arch design. I then just filled in the empty spots with some wooden slabs, just to give a bit more color contrast. So now that I have the skeleton of the building and the roof all done, I'm just going to head over here and start doing kind of my classic wall design with just some textured stone and stone bricks. I'm also going to come over here and add some logs to the roof section here and strip them. And yeah, that looks pretty nice, so I'm just going to head over and do that on the other side. So now I think I'm just going to go over here and fill in the ceiling with some slabs. And then I went around and added some fences and fence gates. Alright, I think that looks pretty nice, so I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some stairs onto these pillars here. And that's exactly what I did. I just went around and I added some stairs and trapdoors to the pillars just to add more depth and make it feel a bit more cozy.
And that is the outside of this house done. So that's pretty cool. Now I think I'm just gonna come inside here and just replace the floor with some probably normal stone slabs. Alright, so I realized I forgot to bring some windows from my other base, so I'm gonna just head back down there really quickly and pick those up.
So there are the windows.
So once I'm done building all of the houses for this village, I'm going to come back through and do all of the interiors, so don't worry about that right now. But also for now, just to get some lighting in, I'm just going to use some torches up here. But I will hopefully eventually replace these with lanterns. But that does it for the first house. So now I would like to move on to this one here, because it's kind of a fun shape and I'm a little excited to try this one out.
So I got right into doing the pillars, and then connected them across the top and added these little parts that poke out for more depth. I then just went with the same roof design as the other build. But this middle section where the pillars met was a little bit challenging, but I think it turns out pretty good, so you guys let me know what you think of it.
So while building this house, I realized that I could add some extra detail to these other ones and like all the future ones by just adding some buttons in here on the edges of these pillars to make them look a little bit nicer and have them stand out a bit more. So yeah, I think that was a good idea. So I'll do that here as well. But I feel like this roof was pretty tough to do. But I think I did a pretty good job with it. Let me know in the comments if you guys like it, but personally, I think I did a pretty decent job. Now for the wall design, I'm just going to go with the exact same thing I've been doing for all of the other builds so far on this world, and that is just going to be this casual wall here. Now I'll just pop in the doors here. And I want to do that same log thing I did with the other house. I'm also just going to copy in the roof and the floor. Now I'll just add in some temporary torches. So I almost forgot, but I need to add in these little sections here. And there we have it. That is the second exterior house completely finished.
So now with those first two houses done, I was getting a good sense of what I wanted to do with this village and the style I wanted to build in. So here's just some shots of what we've gotten through so far.
So as you can see, I'm running pretty low on iron, so I'm actually going to head up to the mountains and start mining some.
I then realized that I was going to need some coal so that I could smelt up my iron, so I just started gathering some of that as well. I then stumbled across this ruined portal, but there was not really anything good in the chest, so I just took the iron and the flint and steel, and then I got back to mining. After mining up all the ore that I'm going to need for a very long time, I just started chopping up some trees so that I could get to work on a few more of the village houses.
Alright, so now that I've collected up some wood, I would like to come over and try to make this house here, because this is going to be my most challenging house to build, so I think it'll also be the most fun. So I'll get this one going right now.
So I just started up by building up the pillars, because that would be a good kind of home ground for me. And then I added up the little pointy bits and connected them. And then I started on the roof, which I knew was going to be very challenging for this build. So I decided to just tackle it immediately. And I wanted to have the two sections of the roof pointing in different directions. But I'll just let you guys enjoy the time lapse now.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around here and just add in some trapdoors to the bottoms of all of these pillars. I don't know if I've said it yet, but I'm kind of going for like a half indoor, half outdoor kind of thing here, so I might do sort of like a blacksmith style building here. But this section here is going to be like an indoor, and then this is going to kind of stay as it is now as like an outdoor patio sort of area. So I'm just going to get the walls in here, and then probably like a stone floor for this one would be kind of cool. So yeah, I'll just get that going. Alright, so now that the exterior of this house is done, I just need to gather up like an absolute butt ton of materials. So I'm just going to do that all off camera because you guys have all seen that already, so I'll just do that. Alright, so I've spent a couple Minecraft days collecting up an absolute poop ton of materials, so this should be enough to start working on the rest of the houses here. And now that you guys kind of get the gist of what's going on, I'm just going to put these all into some time lapses here. So here you go.
So I wanted to tackle this 3x4 house first because it was going to be a little bit different than the others. So I just built up the pillars and did the same thing as all the others. And then I started working on the roof for this one, which was basically the same, but the top was a little bit more flat than the others. I then decided to dig out the floor and just put in some stone slabs, which would look pretty nice in my opinion. And then I started working on the walls. After that, I added some buttons onto the ends of the pillars, and then added in the fence and fence gates on the side for more depth. Next up, I wanted to tackle these houses up on this hill here, and I built them pretty much the same as all the others, so I'll just let you guys enjoy the time lapse. And then I started working on this house.
Alright, so here's just a quick recap of all of the houses that I have built so far. So this one right here was pretty simple design, it was just a little bit longer than the others. Like I said, we'll do all of the interiors at the end of the episode. But now I'd like to come on over here to this one. This is just a simple 3x3 interior. It's the same as this one up here, and also the same as that one back there. Except this one I've lowered by a block, that way it looks a little bit nicer. And this one right here is actually one block skinnier than all of the others. From here it's normal, from the front it's a bit different, as you can see. And I've actually forgotten to put in the windows here, so... well, I had the perfect amount of windows. But anyways, so those are the houses that I have built so far. The last one that I have to do is back over here. And this is going to be a simple 3x3. But I think I want to give it 2 stories, because none of these other ones have 2 stories, and I think that it would be kind of cool. So I'll just pop that one into a time lapse as well for you guys. This house was pretty much the same as all of the other ones, so I just started out building it normally, except I just added another floor. I wanted to have the first floor be 4 blocks tall, and then the second be 3, just to add some contrast. I then started working on the walls, which were the same as the other houses, except for these top row ones because it was a little shorter. I then did the roof exactly the same as all the other houses. I then put on the finishing touches, and the house was done. Alright, so now that I have this awesome house completely finished, I'm just going to come in here and add in some marketplace stalls just to liven up the area a bit. So I think I want to go with a relatively simple design here for the first one. And then maybe I'll do some fence like that. And then for this, okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to go down and get some more wool real quick. And now I'll just add in this last row. So I think that looks pretty cool. I'm just gonna add a bit of a table here so that the vendors can actually sell stuff, you know? And I think I would like to have an extra little spot here. So now for this next one, I'd like for it to be a bit smaller, and I want to put it over here. So I think maybe I'll go with something like this. I'll actually move these forward one, and then I'll just have maybe some fence gates in the back like this. And I think for this one, I have a design like that. Alright, so I'm gonna add in a couple slabs here so that it doesn't look so weird. And then this one's gonna be yellow. So I'll just do that. And I actually kinda like that. I think it looks cool. So I'll do the same thing with like the walls here, and I'll actually change this one out here. Yeah, that's kind of a cool little stall there. So now I just want to add in some paths here just to make it look like this is a busy area that sees like a lot of customers, you know, so there we go. So now, as a final little thing, I'm gonna just bone meal this area right here and have some cool grass and flowers, just like so that it's not so bland over here. So that's good for the marketplace there. And now I want to go in and add some farms and some bushes and all that good stuff around this entire village here. So I'll just put that entire thing into a big time lapse here for you guys. Enjoy. So I've done some extra work off camera, but now I just want to go into all of these houses and just start adding in some beds. That way, when I add in the villagers, they have somewhere to sleep. So now with all of the beds in, I'm gonna have to find the nearest village, probably thousands of blocks away, and then I'm gonna have to bring back 2 villagers so that I can start populating this village. Alright, so I guess that there's no sense in just waiting and hoping a village comes to me. I gotta go find one, so time to start the very, very long journey. While I'm here, I'm just gonna pick up these hay bales as well. Alright, so I'm just gonna head back to the base now, and I'll just cut back to you guys when I'm there. I finally see home. Alright, so now I'm just gonna try to lure this guy up to the village by placing some workstations, and hopefully he follows them. Well, at least he's following the workstations. I'm happy this worked so smoothly. Normally these guys take forever to find the workstations. But now we have ourselves an armorer that I accidentally punched. Hopefully he forgives me soon, but I'm gonna head back to the village now and get another villager so that they can start breeding. Alright, so it was a lengthy process, but I finally got this other villager back, and they have already warmed into their new homes, as you can see, enjoying their time, and they actually made a baby right over here, you can see. So they are starting to populate the village, and it is going along quite nicely. So I think that's gonna do it for this episode. So I'm gonna just hit into the glamour shots real quick. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this. This is definitely the most ambitious project I've ever done. And so if you could leave a like or subscribe and comment any suggestions you have for this village or my building style or the video in general, I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Here's the glamour shots.